the two of us are very close. We have traveled together. We have grown up in a family, in a military family, and so we had to, stay together and be close and support each other. I think throughout all the years, and this continues even with the distance between us. Nikki is my American sister. When we moved to San Francisco, we were neighbors in a duplex. And one of the fun things, we grew so close that our bathrooms were together in the duplex. And when we opened the cabinet, we could literally we would go to ballet and other dinners out together. Nikki would open up, "Hello, are you there? What are you wearing? Are you wearing a long dress tonight?" So the two of us, we just had a great bond. We had parties. And Nikki introduced me to American catalogs, the Sears catalog, which was a real thing. In Norway, we didn't have any catalogs at all, but I had Sears anyway. And so this was, you trained me to be Americanized. And Malka, dear Malka, we have been friends for so many years, since Jill and Julia were in preschool. 2 years old, exactly, and that's 30 years or so ago. And we have kept our friendship through thick and thin, through distances and closeness, and the fact that you now live in Israel, you came to New York and then made the special trip to be here just warms my heart more than you can imagine. I mean, that is really special. And I feel that that has really elevated my party tremendously. So thank you for that. I have an additional American sister, and that's Leslie. The two of us, I opened the Images of the North, and Leslie was my customer, one of the early customers. And she said, at one point she said, I wish I had a gallery like this. And I said, well, I'm looking for a partner. And so the two of us, worked it out, and Leslie became my partner, and we just developed a very close bond, and so my second American sister. Thank you for that, Leslie. My pleasure. You've always been supportive, and you are the aunt, quote unquote, of the kids, and so that's also been very special. I'm not going to go through everyone forever, however, Katie Kazida is over there. Katie was the founder of Nordic Five Arts, and I became a member of that group, and after some years, Katie said to me, I'd like you to take over as the leader of this group. And I said, I don't think so. I cannot fill your shoes. But you kept insisting. She just wouldn't give up. And when Katie wants something, she gets it. I've learned that.
You vouch for that.
And so, again, thank you. I thought it was going to be too much, but I think I grew into the job, and thank you for trusting in me. Pamela Van Beekum, she's standing there as the photographer of note. The two of us, over the years, have shared so much: design, photography, and lately, politics. And thank you for being my friend. Moving right along. Old friends, new friends, some of which we met in Africa. And I think you are the called Blues Friends, and we love you too. And
It's funny, you don't look African.
South African. Cherish you all. Finally, I want to thank Sam, my dear husband, the love of my life, for all the support and love and care for almost 44 years. It's going to be 44 years in May. And my goodness, we look forward to, well, you wish we could have another 44 years. But the way we're traveling, we're packing in a lot of years. So I just wanted to finish with some words. Sam gave me a lovely card, and I want to give those words back to you. So I'm going to say, my darling Sam. We've been together for a long time now. We've laughed and cried and seen each other through our best and worst and everything in between. And today, when I look at you, I feel even more love than I felt before. We have a history together full of shared memories that keep us close. You are so much part of me and part of my happiness, and it's impossible to imagine what life would have been without you. You are my partner and my love, and I ask nothing more than to spend all the rest of my life with you. My work is done.
He's not at last year's Republican convention. I'm going to tell you right up front that I'm going to plagiarize shamelessly. So here, we'll get started. I'll start with the first plagiarization, if that's a word. At last year's Democratic convention, you'll remember Bill Clinton started off his speech with the words, "In the spring of 1971, I met a girl." Well, I beat him by a few months because 46 years ago, in the spring and in the winter of 1971, I met a girl. And to plagiarize further, in the immortal words of Rodgers and Hammerstein in their great show, South Pacific, some enchanted evening, you may see a stranger. You may see a stranger across a crowded room. And somehow you know even then, that somewhere you'll see her again and again. Well, and I don't want to compete with Ezio Pinza, so it's not on my register, so I'm not going to try to sing it. But it wasn't an evening, it was an afternoon, but it was a crowded room. It was the cafeteria at the NATO headquarters in Brussels. And I think you all know the story. I saw this stunning Nordic beauty, long blonde hair, orange miniskirt, high boots, and I said, I've got to meet her. And I made my business to do just that. And the rest is kind of history. 3 months later, we celebrated her 24th birthday together. And we've been celebrating birthdays together ever since. And in that time, I constantly found myself impressed, amazed, and delighted by all the things I discovered about this wonderful girl I met 46 years ago. What a great, fun, and intrepid traveling companion she was. How ready she was to laugh at my jokes. even the one she's heard a dozen times. Or 100 times. And to laugh at or at least forgive my idiosyncrasies and foibles and quirks. How bright and capable and talented and accomplished she was, getting her BA in art history at UC Berkeley in a language that wasn't her native tongue after spending a year at the University of Hawaii and her first year at the University of Oslo. How independent and hardworking she was, putting her art history background to use by conceiving and opening Images of the North on Union Street in 1979, which very soon became San Francisco's premier destination for Inuit, Eskimo, and American Indian art, and which continues under the expert guidance of our beloved former partner, Leslie Lenhart, that Helene spoke about before. Shortly after that, in 1981, we adopted Jeff, became parents, and Helene proved to be just a great mother, creating a warm and loving home while perfectly balancing work at the gallery. And a few years later, in 1984, Jill came along. Everyone here knows her story. For those of you who don't, you haven't done this, sometimes just Google Jillian Sobel.
On some national news.
And our family was complete. So, like every family, we had our ups and downs, but Helene was always the sensible and sensitive bulwark that helped keep us all on an even keel. Firm and practical when needed, and soft and comforting at other times, a perfect maternal role model for both of our kids, and for her husband as well. Well, after she retired from the gallery, she followed a lifelong interest in photography, which she speaks about in the handout that I passed around. Many of you have probably seen that before. And she started a new career in digital photography and graphic design. And I know everyone here has seen her marvelous creations. And in part for that, we have to thank her dear friend Pamela Van Beekum, who's taking pictures up there, who was sort of her first mentor, getting her into the computer world and helping her develop the skills that she needed in that regard. And in this role, as a photographer and exhibiting, she joined Nordic 5 Arts, this group of Bay Area artists of Scandinavian heritage, eventually taking the torch from Katie Cassida, as Helene mentioned, and running the operation perfectly, I think, from what I hear. Iron fist in a velvet glove, right? Hammer of Thor in a styrofoam, whatever. She also, at the same time, became a valued member of San Francisco Women Artists, exhibiting in their gallery and creating their monthly announcements. And during all this time, Helene has given our family another invaluable gift, which I really want to focus on. Staying in close touch with her family, particularly Sister Jane, and joining ladies groups at the Norwegian Seamen's Church and the San Francisco Norwegian Club, really staying in touch with her Norwegian heritage and sharing it with the rest of us in the family. And carrying on Norwegian traditions at home, particularly around the winter holidays, when we celebrate a festive Norwegian Christmas, complete with traditional foods, expertly prepared, of course, as well as celebrating Jewish Hanukkah with Helene's perfect, crispy, delicious potato latkes, which we really look forward to. And as most of you know, Jeff and Jill both spent a year in Norway at what's called a Folkhøyskole, which is like a junior college, learning about the culture, taking courses, learning Norwegian. And then Jill spent 3 years living and working in Stavanger, Helene's hometown, and where Jane lives, before she went to college, and really immersing herself, and came back speaking fluent Norwegian. So, tusen takk, my love, for bringing Norway so vividly and so thoroughly into our lives. It's been a real treasure. And now, after so many years and so many birthdays, we reach another milestone, 70 years. And to look at her, you would never know it. I still see see the luminous beauty who captured my imagination and then captured my heart so many years ago. And I have to turn again to Rodgers and Hammerstein, who said so well in the same play, "Younger than springtime." It's in my key. "Gayer than laughter are you, angel and lover, heaven and earth are you too." Younger than springtime, gayer than laughter, angel and lover, heaven and earth are you to me. So, I want to raise a glass and ask you all to join me saying to Helena, happy birthday. Happy birthday. Did I pass? I wasn't sure my voice was going to matter.
Family and friends and Helene, son, Phil, everybody. I'm very happy to be here today and celebrate their 70th birthday. Help! The number is scary. Helene's been very scary what I'm going to say. Because I know her. My size and all of that size. She has a memory of detail. I have to tell she has most nice sides. And yeah, we have much fun together, so she's very excited what I'm going to say, but I'm nice person. 2 weeks ago. Just relax. Watch out for sisters. I know her more than 20 years, more than you sound. Yes, Helene was born in 1947. And at that time, Norway was a poor country. We were occupied by the Germans for 5 years, and our father, that was a military officer, was in prison all these years. He was a pilot and was going with the boat from Norway to England, but the motor got damaged, and they landed in Denmark that also was occupied. So he was first imprisoned in Norway, and then he went to Germany. Germany. Yes.
Jane, a little louder.
Okay. You have a good voice. But he was a strong man, both physically and mentally. And what he said, what he missed when he was in prison, that was not having kids, not having anything after him. Because he was about 30, 32, or I don't remember. Around 30 years old. Yeah. So he survived, and we were both very welcome in the family, since he wanted so much kids. And we had a good childhood, with good parents. That was very nice with us. We lived in Paris for 4 years, and we traveled around. We were seeing Italy, Spain, Germany, Netherlands, many countries, of course Scandinavia, and we had a nice time. We also had houses, was bombing, so we knew we had a good life. So after the war, how it was, and Norway also became good. We got money from USA to build up Norway, to build up Europe. The Marshall Plan. Yeah, the Marshall Plan. Helene, she was nice with everyone, my parents, friends, everyone, but not always with me. So it begins. Now it begins. I'm holding on to the next one.
That's funny.
You know, you remember. She was teasing very much. She was stealing my clothes. Wait, really not doing it. She was still doing.
One red jacket, mom wore it.
So when she went away, I was not happy. And she wanted me to come visiting her in Brussels.
Younger.
And I think she
Yeah, she was so nice, so good. We had such a nice time. And we ever had since. Yeah. She was the good, then she became the good. My good friend. Yeah, I saw her. That was, we had so many nice years. Thank you for that. And Helene, she was nice looking, tall, with blonde hair and blue eyes. She was the Norwegian princess. And Jill, we want to give a little decoration.
You never know what to expect. Watch out for sisters, especially younger ones.
She's the Norwegian princess. With a crown and with this purple sash. Oh, this one? Sash. Oh, okay.
Towels.
Things you got here. We have been in our room. You know where? On the 17th of May, it's on National Day. And a big parade of school children and teachers are walking in front of the castle in Oslo. And of course the Norwegian princess was there once or several times, waving to all the parade.
Yeah.
You remember? That's a true story.
Yeah, we were there at the royal palace.
Yeah, so you are a princess. And you are Sam's princess. Yeah. A princess needs a good education, and Helene was always studying seriously. She was reading high English, old Norwegian. It was terrible. I had a room next to her. She was always doing lessons. Always. I was playing. I was working. She was always studying. Always. And she was very good in language. She speaks French, German, English, Norwegian, Swedish. You mentioned
Icelandic at one point.
At the age of 26, she married a man called Sam that she met in Brussels. And the Norwegian fell in love with Sam too. He was a nice guy and he was well educated, both, and it also was good. It's not bad being a doctor. It's going to be a good thing for the whole family. So when Helene represents Norway as a princess, she always has a doctor, one meter behind her, taking care of her health. So we wanted a cold or anything else, taking her blood pressure, going to relax Helene, not eating too much. He takes care of her all the time. And she has been representing Norway very, very good all these years. And she has been all continents as a princess. And the Norwegian government wants to give you a present. The Norwegian government has a present for you. So here you are.
You want to know what the present is?
You open.
You get a present.
What's the present?
Yes.
Shall I open it?
She wants it back when you come.
She recently took a trip in the Vikings' footsteps from Bergen to Montreal. And for that, we can go home to give you a present. She's now planning her next trip, and that is now she is getting Leia, Bodo,
I'm bored with
Bodo of all the cities and everything. She wants to have nature. Nature of them.
Yeah, what experiences.
Yeah, nature experiences. That's the next. Have you heard about that?
No, tell us.
Yes, I will tell you. No, she wanted to make a trip in Fridtjof Nansen's footstep. He was a famous Norwegian explorer that was when country skis wanted to go to the North Pole. But he didn't reach it. Yeah, that was in 1893. He didn't reach the North Pole. And his trip on the boat, the ice came, so he has to be there for 3 years waiting to go to the North Pole. But he couldn't go. He just went on the 86 degrees north latitude. But Helene, she wanted to go all up. Of course, she don't want to stop there. It's 86 degrees. Oh, she want to go all up.
All the way.
Yes, all the way. So there is a Norwegian lady called Cecilia Skog, and she has been both at the North and the South Pole, and also on Everest. And she want to help you go there, guiding you, having you close and no, you don't go by ski. No, of course you go by fly, and you go snowmobile. So you will reach it. I'm sure you will do. And bring the flag with you. Plant the flag as the first Norwegian princess. And the next trip, she don't stop with that. She's also planning to go in another famous Norwegian man called To Heyerdahl. Probably some have seen his film. And he was also famous explorer. In 1947, he crossed the Pacific Ocean in the Bulls. A raft. He made people making it. And that's called Kon-Tiki. Yeah. And the Kon-Tiki is in a museum in Norway. They went from Calawa of Peru, the sire for Polynesia. And he did it. He wanted to show that it was possible for South American people to travel the island of the South Pacific. The boat Kon-Tiki will be taken out of the museum for the Princess Helene. And of course the doctor is going to follow. And the man has a son called To Heyerdahl, the same name. And he will be your guide on a week tour of Kon-Tiki.
Sam, get ready for a raft. Not a cruise, but a raft.
A raft and To Heyerdahl.
Doesn't have a king size bed.
At the age of 17, and that is in the
No more traveling in style.
representing Norway, perhaps more than ever. Her last trip was to Asia, where she met a lot of interesting people, and she was talking about the country that she comes from. Always interested in telling about the region, wonderful nature, the fjords, and other attractions. She loves Preikestolen.
The pulpit rock, the sharp.
She loves Preikestolen. That's Princess Stavanger. High up, and you see the whole fjord.
Yeah.
But since you know it's 70 years old, she rather want to go there by helicopter than doing 2-3 hours walk as she used to do. So Helene, I hope you enjoy my speech. Something is true, something is exaggerated. And it doesn't end here. Helene was born in 1947, the year that Wenche Myhre was born, a Norwegian singer,
Famous.
Elton John.
There you
Steven Spielberg. That's some of that. And it's also said Kon-Tiki with two Heyerdahl.
Genghis Khan?
And then everybody was getting 3 weeks vacation. There's a law that made everybody gets 3 weeks vacation.
Thank you. Yes. We need that too.
And Christian Dior gave out his first perfume
Oh, and 47?
in 1947.
Christian Dior.
Christian Dior's first
Okay.
perfume.
For a special sister alone. To my dear sister Helene, your birthday is the perfect time to let you know how much you mean to me. Whenever we have a chance to get together, we always have such a good time. And when we are apart, I think of you so often. Having you as a sister has always been one of life's greatest gifts. One that means even more as time goes by. Happy birthday. Thank you.
I'll pass this around, this beautiful Viking ship. From the government of Norway.
And so I would make fabulous meals, and then I'd go and take her a little dish. Taste this. Yeah. What do you think? And it was so much fun. It was so much fun, and it just enriched my life completely. And we really were sisters. I mean, we played. We really played, and we would go down to on the Presidio.
Yeah, on the Presidio.
She was my duplex mate next door, and we lived in very humble circumstances then. Those were very modest little places, but they still made it a beautiful place with a beautiful contemporary furniture and orange. Orange,
Black and orange.
yes,
That's
black
my
and
favorite
orange.
color.
Giant,
That's
giant.
not skirt.
Yeah.
It's all about the,
Yeah.
I think it's all about the mini skirt.
Those go-go boots.
Yes. So anyway, when she moved in, which was 1974, we were 7 years apart, and that seemed like a big difference. I felt much older and more mature than she. However, as we've gotten older, it seems like much shorter a distance naturally. And I'm very grateful for our friendship that has continued over the years for both you and Sam. And I am enriched every year that we manage to come by at least annually and get our fix of the soul. Thank you so much.
And then, before the salad disappears entirely, I think Tony, David, and perhaps Kaz had another word to add.
I'm supposed to follow this lead, you told me.
Again, very old friends whose kids went to preschool together, and well, we've been close ever since.
That's right. This goes back 30 years.
Long
You were a little.
Little. Still sport, but.
2-year-old.
But anyway, this is about Helene. Helena is a girl who, when she is ready for something, she is all in. All in. So one evening, Sam and Helena were at our house, and some of you may have known Misty.
Yes.
Misty, may she rest in peace.
Okay.
Misty is under the house. Resting in peace. But
Tony, a little louder.
Helena missed Misty, and so one night, Sam and Helena came to our house. We had a dog named Zoe. May Zoe rest in peace.
She's under the house.
Sure where she is.
And so we had a certain period of mourning, and then we couldn't replace Zoe with one dog, so we replaced her with 2 dogs. So Sam and Helena came to our house, and Kaz will pick up from there.
So Helena, the minute she walked through the door, was so enchanted with the dogs, and they are really cute, I have to say.
Same thing.
These two are both strays. They both have some poodle in them. And Helena was, forget dinner, forget we had fabulous friends there, other friends, forget us. She was just so thrilled with these dogs. And so she was like, how did you get them? And so during dessert, I brought down my computer and said, here's how we did it. And we found these dogs on a website called Poodle Rescue or Bay Area
Poodle Rescue.
And so I said,
for all of you who want a dog, all of you who have allergies, Bay Area Poodle Rescue is how you find hypoallergenic dogs, because all of them are either all or part poodle. Go ahead.
yeah, but the more important thing is, we went on the website, and there was this little white girl that was quite adorable. And some special woman fell in love with that dog immediately. And I said, you gotta get her. And the thing about this is you have to move quickly because there are a lot of people vying for these dogs. And I was like, she was really enchanted with this dog. So I was like, egging her on. That could be the dog. Can you do it that night? I was trying to do it that night.
You have to explain one thing. This rescue site requires in-person interviews.
Oh my
They
God.
have to inspect your
From life experiences, I learned one important thing. It is so important for all of us to celebrate happy times. Happy times. And I don't take it for granted to be here today and celebrate with you the happy times that we had together. I personally have a very small number of friends whom I have kept in touch throughout my life, maybe 3, 4. And Helena, you're one of them. And it just shows the distance is not an obstacle. Because when we are in Argentina, I get a call from her. She said, oh, we are going to be in Argentina the same time you are. So we get to meet her there. Or in Israel, when I lived in Israel, she came with Sam to visit us. And in New York, of course, a number of times. And our long conversations we had about all objects and all subjects of life, I cherish and nourish. And I will never forget our friendship. And Sam, keep up with your great jokes. You are really, really something.
A rabbi, a minister, and a priest walk
A Sam joke.
We are a good joke from you right now. But anyway, I love you guys, and it's been a privilege to be here today.
Well, it's our privilege to have you.
Well, the dessert is not yet on the table, and I think Richard had something he wanted to say.
It's funny. I was thinking as the days got closer to tonight that I didn't even imagine where to begin with Helena, because so much of what my experience of Helena is kind of below the surface, kind of below the, almost your consciousness, because things like ego, you don't see any of that with Helena. Somebody said earlier that she throws herself into everything. Whatever she chooses, she's 100% into. And when she's with you, she's 100% with you, right?
Yes.
You mentioned something, I forgot what it was, but it struck me, another thing that I didn't even think of. And I was speaking to Sam today, and I was, in preparation of the festivities tonight, I was just thinking that I wouldn't even know where to begin with Helena, because you got to really think about what is it that moves you so much about her. And I wrote something. I wrote something down, before I came here. It was quickly, just a few minutes, and I just want to see if I can find it, and maybe that'll help. At least touch a couple bases that I'm not touching now. Don't delete it. Give me 1 second. Here we go. So I just wrote down unsung heroes, and I think of Helena as one of them. Because Helena, since I've known her, she's been like 100% supporting anything and everything Sam and her family brought forth. So I wrote unsung heroes. And amazing doesn't do her justice, because it's too easy when you think about it. She's, there's this saying that every blade of grass in the Talmud, I think, has an angel that stands over it and whispers, grow, grow, right? And when I think of, when I think of Helena, I think of her as like one of the pillars of the world, everybody in their own sphere takes care of what is in their reality, right? So let's examine for a moment, what I think of as amazing about Helena. We've talked about her creativity, her artistic flair. She's certainly humble, doesn't bring any attention to herself, isn't my experience, right?
Except with this up.
The fact that you have confidence in yourself without bringing the ego ahead of you is a beautiful thing. So I wrote down here. So let's examine for a moment what's amazing about Helena. She's committed. She's reliable. She's supportive. She's thorough. She's exacting. She's astute. She's formidable. She's competent. She's generous. Understated. Clever. Classy. Smart. Beautiful.
Yes.
If you're a friend or family, she's there for you. Right?
Right.
Helena, you're just lovely. Happy birthday.
Hermafrodite som fyller sitt ålder, vill vi gratulera. Alla i ring omkring där vi står och ser, men vi vill marschera. Bulken-nicken är snurras omkring, danser för dig med hopp och sprätt och sprätt. Önskar dig av hjärta alla goda ting och simma så vad vill du mera? Gratulera!
Again.
Happy birthday, dear friend.